I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make change. Let's go. That's all I fucking hear.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. And I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. Y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 15. Y'all already know what to do. Smash that subscribe button, like and share the content. We on our way to 200 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me so far. Let's go ahead and keep this thing going. So as everybody know, yesterday we concluded week 3 of the NFL season. So I told y'all I'm pushing this content out. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into some topics that I had came up with for this week's episode. So the first topic of the day, I said I got to give out some apologies. One thing about me, if I say something wrong on this podcast, and y'all going to start to learn this and see this, if I say something wrong, I'm man enough to get back in front of the camera and say, you know what, I was wrong. If I say something right, though, I want my credit too. But for this instance, I was wrong. So my first apology is going to go out to my man Andy Dalton down there with the Panthers. If whoever watched the last episode, y'all know I was a little critical of Carolina benching Bryce Young and moving forward with Andy Dalton as they starting quarterback. I just felt like that I thought it would be a confidence killer for Bryce Young. You drafted him number 1 last year, and I thought that I felt like just give him some time, give him more time. But man, I ain't gonna lie, Andy Dalton came out this weekend, and that game he had against the Raiders, he made me change my mind on a lot of that stuff. I'm not saying that Bryce Young really might not be that good, but I ain't gonna lie, for Andy Dalton to come out with so much pressure on him, everybody already don't agree that you should have got that Bryce Young should have been benched and you should be coming. So you going in with that pressure, you on the road playing against a Raiders team that just came off of a huge win against Baltimore the week before, and for you to go out there with all that pressure and put up 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, he went 26-37 with 123.6 passer rating and win the game on the road. That was huge for Andy Dalton. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, that right there goes to show you, man, that even though these guys, you got to remember, Andy Dalton was a starting quarterback in this league for quite some times. And, you got to remember, even though they didn't win the big one or they didn't make it to, where a lot of people wanted them to, you got to think, man, him and A.J. Green gave you some very good years down there in Cincinnati. I didn't say Andy Dalton was a bad quarterback. I just felt like that I didn't think that Andy Dalton could change the trajectory of where the Panthers were headed. I felt like, at the beginning of the year, nobody really picked the Panthers to do anything. So it's like, okay, you switching from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton. I didn't see that making a big deal. But, man, that's a hell of a game. That's a hell of a game for Andy Dalton, man, to come out and put up those numbers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, he might have been the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards so far this season. Like, if I'm not mistaken, like that was a hell of a game. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't able to really fully watch it because I was watching my Cowboys playing other games, and I looked and I'm like, hold on, Andy Dalton playing like that? He must have watched my podcast or somebody must have sent it to him. I hope that's the case, because I definitely would like to get some credit for that performance if that was the case. But man, shout out to Andy Dalton. That was a hell of a win, a hell of a way to go out there and silence the critics. And I don't like the fact that I didn't hear a lot of people come back on and say that they say that they were wrong about the things that they were saying about Andy Dalton and how they felt earlier this week. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to come back and apologize for to all my Panthers fans. If you watch, I apologize. That's on me. I messed up. Shout out to Andy Dalton for a hell of a game. And I think now, after seeing that and seeing what Andy Dalton did and everything, I think this is something that actually could end up being good for Bryce Young. You sit behind a vet like Andy Dalton, you know what I'm saying, watch him show, and you look at a game like that, and those could be some learning points for Bryce Young, because you got to think, you coming in from a winning collegiate team in Alabama. Everybody know what Alabama do. You come in there, you know what I'm saying, you get thrown into the fire with a bad franchise, and you know what I'm saying, it's rocky. Bryce Young never had a chance to sit back and actually learn behind a vet. And on my last episode, I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes, but you got to think, Patrick Mahomes was able to sit behind Alex Smith. Jordan Love was able to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes those guys need those solid vets to sit behind to be able to grasp certain concepts, because this is not college. Some don't. You see some guys come in and just light it up, but for some guys, you know what I'm saying, it take that vet to, you know what I'm saying, take them under their wing and help them out a little bit. So I like it. I like it, man. For Andy Dalton to go out there and have a game like that, I think this is something that could be good for Bryce Young and something good for the Panthers. Like I said, now this is a confidence booster. Like I said, you went on the road. Raiders was just coming off of a hell of a win against Baltimore, and then for them to come into Las Vegas and do what they did, shouts out to Andy Dalton, shouts out to the Carolina Panthers. My second apology, who I owe an apology to. Like I said, I'm man enough to admit I was so wrong about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I picked this was about 2 episodes, quite right before the season started. I said that the teams that I felt were gonna be, you know what I'm saying, I put my sleeper teams who I thought were gonna be good this year, and I was wrong on that too. And I put my teams that I didn't think was gonna be good, and for the AFC, that team was the Buffalo Bills, because I felt like the loss of Stephon Diggs, I felt that was gonna be a curve for them to get around, because now you going from Stephon Diggs to, they drafted Keon Coleman, and then, you know what I'm saying, you got the other guys there. I just felt like it wasn't enough. Dalton Kincaid, the young tight end, I just felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like they say, okay, we're going to put everything on the back of Josh Allen, but, man, have they answered the bell? I mean, just look at these numbers. Week 1, 34 points. Week 2, 31 points. Week 3, 47 points. They putting up 30-plus points a game. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. Week 1, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 142.1 passer rating. Week 2, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 107.1 passer rating. And that Week 2 game was against Miami. I don't think they wanted to throw that much because, he was dealing with, I think, a finger. It was either a finger or a hand injury. And then the game last night, he had 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 137.7 passer rate. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. If the season ended right now, I would say Josh Allen is the MVP of the league, just by the way he came in with the mindset of, okay, I lost, you know what I'm saying, that number one guy. Everybody's turning their back on us, saying that they don't think we're going to be able to do what we've been on. I'm going to show everybody. And right now, Josh Allen is showing. I always been a fan of Josh Allen, but he's taking his game to another level, and so just have the Bills in general. I mean, they are punishing teams. That performance that they put on in Week 2 against Miami was phenomenal. The defense made some very big plays, and just, but I heard some early, and I kind of agree with that. I think once Stephon Diggs was brought in there to help, and don't get me wrong, Stephon Diggs played a huge part in the development of Josh Allen, but once you give a quarterback that confidence and they know, okay, I can do that, I'm really one of them guys, then you can move away from that guy. Not saying that Stephon Diggs was hindering them or anything, but you can move away from that guy and still be able to put your team in positions to be successful. I think, things were kind of starting to get a little rocky between Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. And, of course, they took the franchise quarterback. They're going to take the side of the franchise quarterback. They moved on from Stephon Diggs, and I'm not going to lie, I think Josh Allen is proving to them that y'all made the right decision, and I can do it. You know what I'm saying? If you give me put some guys around me that at least are just capable of, doing the little things, that I can make this thing work. And, man, the Bills have been outstanding have been outstanding so far this year. Right now, if I had to just guess, just go off the top, I would say we may be looking at an AFC Championship game of Bills and Chiefs, because I kind of wanted to go with the Bengals, but the Bengals look pretty terrible right now, so I'm gonna go with the Bills. But man, so those are my two apologies that I'm gonna go out there. My first apology went to Andy Dalton. My second apology out to the Buffalo Bills. Shouts out to both of y'all, man. That was a great performance from Andy Dalton in Buffalo. Y'all look outstanding right now. Y'all look like one of the top. Y'all, it don't look like y'all are one of the top teams in the AFC, and that's my bad. So that's the first segment. I just wanted to get my apologies out the way. Now that's done, we gonna move on. Second, moving on. So yesterday was Monday Night Football. Pretty sure everybody tuned in. And yesterday was my first chance of really sitting down, being able to watch Washington's rookie quarterback, Jayden Daniels. And man, Jayden Daniels is the real deal. First of all, shout out to my man Lico. I told you, bro, I'm not no hater. When y'all do good, I told you, everybody know I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. But one thing about me, and one thing that I'm not gonna make, this is not gonna be no bias show. I'm gonna talk about everybody. If you doing good, you doing good. If you doing bad, you doing bad. I'm gonna say it just how I feel and just like what it is. And man, yesterday, Jayden Daniels put on a phenomenal show. I think Washington found a franchise quarterback. Just the way he looked out there. The first two games, I think they kind of just needed him. They needed him to kind of settle in. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really throw the ball much. It was he was doing a lot of scrambling, a lot of short passes, a lot of handoffs. But man, yesterday I think he went into that tool bag and he showed you just the thing. And I think there's way more that he could show us. But yesterday was just a small sample size of, man, this kid is the real deal. I mean, just the poise, the confidence, going forward on fourth down, converting those fourth downs, the pinpoint accuracy, that throw to Terry McLaurin in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, because if you don't convert that, you could be possibly giving the ball back to Cincinnati with a chance for them to go down and win. For him to take that deep shot to Terry McLaurin on 3rd and 7, perfect ball placement. And just that right there might be one of the best throwing catches of the year. That was phenomenal. I think him and Terry grew together yesterday. I always been a huge fan of Terry McLaurin. I said that Terry McLaurin was putting up great numbers with subpar, quarterbacks. I said if you can get Terry McLaurin a solid quarterback, you'll see that he's a top receiver in this game. I'm glad that he was able to put the show on that he did yesterday to show people, I'm one of them. When you mention those top receivers in the game, Terry McLaurin should be in that conversation. But Jayden Daniels played phenomenal yesterday. He gave you 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 141.7 passer rating. He ran for 39 yards with a rushing touchdown. He had a 91.3% 3% completion percentage, which is the highest completion percentage in a single game and highest in Commanders franchise history. But man, it was just an all-out phenomenal game. I don't think nobody could take anything away from what you seen yesterday. I think the confidence in the franchise, it built a lot of confidence in them. Like I said, I've been a fan of Jayden Daniels early back in his Arizona State days, and he transferred over to LSU. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. I knew yesterday, to me, felt like watching RG3 all over again. And if you're a Washington Commanders fan, and you had the right to be absolutely excited, I think now you guys have something to look forward to. I think you guys found your franchise quarterback. If you an NFC East fan, the other NFC East team should be worried. Because if you have a young quarterback now, he's playing on a rookie contract. I think this year right here for Washington is going to be a trial error. You know what I'm saying? If they could sneak into the back end of the playoffs, or even, challenged for the division. I mean, just think about it. You got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. Guys going to want to come there. You know what I'm saying? You can add more weapons, add more pieces. So if you're a Washington fan, you should be ecstatic. My only concern with Washington right now was the defense. The secondary is a little, wishy-washy. But as far as on the offensive side of the ball, I think if Jayden Daniels can continue to just grow throughout the year and play the way that he played yesterday, I think that the offense can be able to put up points and score with anybody. I mean, for you to go on the road to Cincinnati, a team that's 0-2. They on the, you know what I'm saying? Cincinnati needed that game yesterday for a rookie quarterback to go on the road in a hostile environment and be able to put up 38 points. You know what I'm saying? And make some clutch throws. You know what I'm saying? Make do what needed to be done to pull out that victory. Man, that's great. That's great to me, and I think That's a solid win. That's a solid win. That's a solid win for Dan Quinn. Even though I was a little upset with Dan Quinn because I felt like, you know what I'm saying, he threw the game for my Cowboys last year. But Dan Quinn, I said it, that Dan Quinn is one of those coaches that players just want to play for. Players they're gonna go out there, they're gonna play hard for him, and that his confidence should be up. Jayden Daniels' confidence should be up. Ownership, just everybody, because you know what I'm saying, it's been a long time coming for Washington. Like I said, I ain't no hater. I keep it on it. It's been a long time coming. Yesterday should give you guys a glare of hope, saying, you know what, now we got something to look forward to. Shouts out to Jayden Daniels. That was a hell of a game. Like I said, you gotta believe you gotta believe in me. I'ma always be a Cowboy fan, but I'm gonna give props when they do. Jayden Daniels made a believe out of me. I'm gonna be honest right now. If you had to ask me between him and Caleb Williams, I'm going Jayden Daniels. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna call it how I call it. I feel like Chicago was the number 1 pick. Washington was the number 2 pick. Chicago have a better wide receiving core. You know what I'm saying? To me, they have more weapons. And Jayden Daniels, look how he look, and Caleb Williams, look how he look. I mean, I would kind of. It's kind of similar to the year prior quarterback thing with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. You seen what C.J. Stroud was the number 2 pick. You seen what he did for Houston. We could be looking at the same thing in Washington with Jayden Daniels. They currently number 1 in the division. But it's early, so we just gotta see. But I wanted just to let everybody know, all my Washington fans, that there's no bias over here. I give credit when it's due. Hell of a win yesterday by y'all, and let's see how this thing going. Moving on to next, and y'all gotta excuse me because I'm a rant a little bit. Moving on to my next one. So as we all know, this past Sunday, my Cowboys lost again at home. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 25-28. It was a rough game. One thing about me that y'all gonna learn, I don't do moral victories. So a lot of people talk about, the Cowboys started to come back again. Can they build off that? No. You was getting your ass whooped the whole game. Like I said, throughout the first 2 going into halftime, you only had 6 points, and then you wait until the 4th quarter to decide, okay, well, let's try some different stuff. Let's do this, and then you started scoring points. I honestly think Baltimore may have took their foot off the gas a little bit because they felt as though they had the game completely in control, and that's how you was able to get back. But so my question that I put up here is Can the problems be fixed in Dallas with the team? No, I didn't word it like that. Can Cowboys problems be fixed? And in my honest opinion, on my panic meter, I'm gonna be honest, I'm about at an 8. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's gonna be hard to fix them. But just because of the simple fact, if you think about it, I blame Jerry Jones for 90% of everything that's going on, because going into the year, you knew everything that needed to be done on this team in order for it to be a competitor, and you just refused to do it. You knew we needed defensive tackles. You knew we needed help in the running back room. You knew we needed another wide receiver outside of CD. I like Brandon Cooks, but don't get me wrong. Brandon Cooks, he's wishy-washy. Some games he can give you great production, and some games he's not giving you anything. I don't have any trust in Tolbert. I really don't have any trust in Jalen Brooks. I like Turpin, but he's more so of a gadget guy. As far as the defensive tackles go, I think Mozzie Smith is. I'm just be honest. I think he's a bust. You brought in Phillips. He looked horrible against New Orleans. They just brought Carlos Watkins back. We'll see what he can do. Osa is, he's hot and cold at times, but Jerry Jones knew everything that we needed going into the season. You waited until the last minute to sign CD. So now CD's coming in. He's trying to cram before the season start. He didn't have no training camp. The whole thing was just to me, it was poorly. I don't know if Jerry's goal was to set the team up to fail or what it was, but I'm just going to be honest. I mean, if you're a real Cowboys fan like I am, sometimes I know it's hard to look in the mirror and just see and just kind of understand or come to grips with it, but this is not a Super Bowl contender. I'm just being honest. They're not. They're bottom 3 in rushing. They can't run the ball. The two main things in it with an NFL team, you got to be able to run the ball and you got to be able to stop the run. They're bottom 3 in rushing and they're dead last in run defense. So you can't run the ball and you can't stop nobody from running the ball. How does that work? You brought in Dalvin Cook. And you won't even elevate Dalvin Cook to see what he can give you. Maybe he can give you a spark in the running game. Rico Dowdle is not an RB1. I like Rico Dowdle, but let's just be honest. He's not an RB1. The Deuce Vaughn experiment needs to end. I understand it was cute and all that. Dad calling him, drafting him, everything like that. But the experiment is not working. It's over. It's time to move on from that. And Zeke, like I said, I don't think Zeke has been bad. I'm not going to say Zeke has been bad, but it's just like he washed. Like it's not. Bro, there was so many other options you could have went. Like I said, Jerry coming on with that BS talking about they couldn't afford Derrick Henry. You could have afforded Derrick Henry. If you would have got the deal done with Dak and CD sooner instead of waiting trying to build up this media frenzy and all this, you could have opened up cap space and went and got Derrick Henry. You didn't do it. Now you in the predicament that you in now. Then you get on the radio and say, "Oh, well, you like the personnel." You don't like the personnel. You just don't want to never admit that. You just don't want to admit that you were wrong. This team is. I'm gonna be honest. This team is not a Super Bowl contender. You've seen teams that can come in and be. The blueprint is out. They can't stop the run. Any team that could come in and be physical, dominate this team. Dominate them. Point blank. Period. You've seen the New Orleans do it, and you've seen Baltimore do it. And then guess what? New Orleans turn around. Play Philly the next week in New Orleans and only scored 3 points and only scored 3 points through I think like 3 quarters. I think going into halftime they only scored 3 points for majority of the game. So that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Super Bowl contending teams, they know it's just like the same thing over and over. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again with this team. You go into the offseason knowing what you need. They don't do anything in free agency, which I don't understand. And then they wait, and then they sign these old guys that nobody want. Guys like Linval Joseph, who was sitting on his couch. Nobody wants these guys. You bring them in, and you think they're gonna make a difference. Yes, don't get me wrong. You guys draft very well, but drafting very well is not just the key to winning a Super Bowl. You're depending on third and fourth rounders to come in and make immediate impact, and it's not going to be like that all the time. The guys that we're looking at that make the biggest impact, most of those guys. Micah Parsons was a first-round draft pick. CeeDee Lamb was a first-round draft pick. Trayvon Diggs was a second-round draft pick. Zach Martin was a first-round draft pick. Dak Prescott was a fourth, but Zeke before was a first round. So you can't. Those are the type of guys you want to hit on those points. Tyler Smith was a first round draft pick. You bringing in fourth rounders and fifth rounders and expecting them to make an immediate impact just because you don't want to go out and draft, just because you don't want to go out and pay free agents. It's just mind boggling to me. It's mind boggling to me. Then with CD. You got guys arguing on the sideline. CD, you got to fix your attitude, bruh. I love you to death, but you can't fumble in the red zone when we on the drive scoring. When we on the scoring, about to go in and score. You fumble in the red zone and change the whole dynamic of the game. So you can't go on the sideline and be complaining, saying, "Hey, give me the ball. I'm right here." But then when we did give you the ball in a crucial situation, you fumble, and then you pouting all game, and it just took your mind completely out the game. It was like Green Bay all over again. You dropping passes, all types of stuff. Come on, man. You got to be better than that. You just got your money. You got to be better than that. Then you got Micah Parsons and Tank Lawrence arguing. Micah Parsons, I mean, I'm not trying to say it like that, but you didn't really have any impact on the game either. The last 2 weeks, you had no impact. I seen you chasing down Lamar a couple of times, but other than that, you getting in the read options and everything. You getting confused. You don't know what you don't know what you're doing. You overplaying the run. It's like, come on, man. It's like, come on. So I'm putting the blame on everything starts from the top. Jerry Jones. I think the game has passed Jerry Jones. I think it's time for Jerry Jones, even though I know he's not. I think it's time for Jerry Jones to step down and maybe hand it off, or they have to figure something out. But you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. For all my fellow Cowboy fans like myself, I beg y'all, the only way we can make a difference with this thing is we got to stop going to the games. We got to stop the merchandise. We got to stop all that, because if we continue to put money in their pockets and keep doing this and keep doing the same things over and over and over, you're not going to see no difference, bro. This team is way too talented to be out there looking the way that they looking. Seriously. It make me worry to even pick them to beat. We play the Giants on Thursday. I can't guarantee we gonna beat the Giants. I will hope so. And then guess what? We'll go out there and beat the Giants, and then give everybody that false hope, and then go somewhere else and lay an egg. I'm just tired of the same thing over and over again. Right now, I'm not gonna give up on my team. Right now, my panic level, if I had to pick, my panic level is about at an 8. I'm gonna see what we do on Thursday, and just see if they can tighten the ship. But right now, it don't look good. Right now, it doesn't look good at all. They just need to they need to regroup, and they need to figure something out. But right now, I think honestly, I'm gonna just be me being honest with myself. I don't think this team can win a championship, not this year at least, because I just think it's hard for you to come into the year. You can't stop the run. I mean, I don't understand really. They don't have good defensive tackles. I don't understand what approach they could take to change it, unless you make a trade. You could maybe try to trade for somebody, maybe trade for a running back, a wide receiver, Amari Cooper, who never should have been traded in the first place. Maybe you could try to get another wide receiver, another defensive tackle, a running back, and try to, get this thing straight. But we just gotta wait. We just gotta wait and see, man. But right now, it's not looking good. Do I think the problems can be fixed? It's gonna be hard, but maybe. But right now, I'm gonna say no. Right now, I'm gonna say no until they show me otherwise. Then right now, I'm going to say no. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about a little bit of college football. Last Saturday, y'all know I shoot one time a week, so I wasn't able to talk, but I'm going to talk about it now. Hell of a game from, talk about the Colorado Buffalo against the Baylor Bears. Hell of a game. And I know whoever's seen it, I was able to watch it in real time. Thank you. I didn't have to see no highlights. But right now I'm going to talk about that how impressive was the Colorado Hail Mary and OT victory versus Baylor. I'm going to give it a 10. That was a hell of a comeback and hell of a game from Colorado. Shador, Travis Hunter. That was a hell of a game. Baylor had control of that game for the most part. For Shador Sanders to get sacked 8 times, and be able to stare down the barrel every single time, make clutch throws. But that Hail Mary, for him to get it, scramble out to the left, a defender coming blazing down on him, and for him to be able to make the throw. And I know sometimes with a Hail Mary, it come a little luck play into it too. But just for him to be able to get that ball off after being sacked 8 times, there's some quarterbacks, they mind get completely took out the game after getting sacked maybe once or twice. For him to get sacked 8 times and every time get up and stare down that gun barrel again, make important throws to keep them alive in this game, that was huge. Shador Sanders, he should, that's a confidence booster. He gained a more of a fan than me just by seeing that. He threw for 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Travis Hunter, I'm going to put this out here right now, and I don't care who like it or not. Travis Hunter should be the number one pick in the NFL draft next year. I don't know if he's gonna win the Heisman, but next year's Travis Hunter should be the number one pick in the NFL draft. The reason why, for him to be able to give you what he can give you on the offensive side of the ball, and then go on the defensive side of the ball and be just as big of an impact player on the defense that he is on the offense. Come on, man. The talent is undeniable. For him to make that play, he basically won the game for Colorado by making that by forcing that fumble. Not the running back was going to score. Him going in there, all the rumors been he's not physical enough. He don't want to tackle. For him to go in there, put his head down, knock that ball out, and basically won the game for Colorado. The talent is undeniable. Travis Hunter should be the number one pick going into the NFL draft next year. And honestly, in my opinion, he should be the Heisman front runner. And all y'all people talking about something, he ain't going to be able to do that in the NFL. He ain't going to be able to play both sides. He's going to be able to play both sides. He done it in high school. He done it in college. And I believe he'll be able to transition and do it in the pros as well. That's God-given ability. You can't argue that. He gave you 130 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but he just constantly every week comes out there. You could tell him and Shador got that rapport. That's Shakur's security blanket. And Travis Hunter, he just doesn't disappoint. You know, when Travis Hunter steps on the field, you know what you're going to get from him on both sides of the ball. He's just that good. And also, LaJohntay Wester, I'm gonna give you your shout out. 68 yards. He's the one that caught the Hail Mary pass from Shador for you to be able to concentrate, go down. That wasn't an easy catch. The ball was down here, and you got to think it was raining. So for you to go ahead and reel that in and basically save the game for Colorado, that's a hell of a victory for Colorado. A lot of people like to talk trash on Colorado and Deion and the way they go about stuff, but you got to understand, man, before Deion got there, that team won one game. If I'm not mistaken, right now they 3-1, and their only loss came against Nebraska, who was playing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? But when Deion first got there, that team won one game. So, you know what I'm saying? You should be able to understand the excitement and the enthusiasm behind it. And then when you getting victories like that, I mean, that should just make it even more better. They got to do something with that offensive line. That offensive line is terrible. They're going to get Shador hurt if they don't do something with that offensive line. They got my boy on there, though, from here. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you know who I'm talking about if you watch college football and you into. But, they just got to do something with that offensive line to get that offensive line a little better. And they got to do something. Warren Sapp, get that defensive line together. And I think, who knows, maybe later on in the year they stack up some wins. They maybe can make a push for the college football playoff. It's 12 teams now, so shout out to Colorado. Hell of a win. I think they like 13. Is it 13 or 14 point dogs this week against UCF? That could be, that could be free money for somebody that want to take Colorado. That's definitely going to be a game I'm going to be tuned into this weekend. But I just wanted to touch on that because, being as though I do my podcast and I'm not really able to touch on college. But trust me, I'm definitely tuned in and tapped in with the college football as well. So that's it for that. Moving on to my next and final topic of the show. This is the first time, but I'm going to do this every week from this point on until the end of the season. When I drop my episodes, I'm going to give my predictions. Let me go ahead and get this out the way. These are my predictions. I'm not telling you to listen to my predictions and bet what I'm saying or nothing. Whatever you choose. I don't want nobody saying, Fat Cheeze, man, you told me pick this and y'all ain't, and this ain't coming. That's your money. Whatever you choose to bet, don't listen to me with your money. Do what you want to do. This is my prediction. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you my Week 4 NFL predictions, being as though I won't shoot again until next week. By the time I shoot again, we'll see. I'll grade myself and see how my picks turned out, and we can go, and then I'll give it for the following week. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to give my predictions from this week on, and actually I'm going to do a record for myself. Just, just have a little fun. And y'all comment y'all predictions too, who y'all think going to win or whatever, and we'll do it like that. So for my Week 4 predictions, I'm going to start off with, of course, my Cowboys Thursday Night Football. I took the Cowboys over the Giants. Like I said, I just had my little rant about my Cowboys, but I'm just hoping and praying that my Cowboys are good enough to beat the Giants. Not saying that the Giants are pretty bad, but they just had an impressive win over Cleveland. Malik Neighbors had his coming out party. Malik Neighbors is having a solid year. To me, he looked like the top candidate for offensive rookie of the year. But I like what I seen from Malik Neighbors, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. And for some reason, we kind of own the Giants, so I'm gonna take the Cowboys over the Giants. I went Bengals over Panthers. I just think that, like I said, I love what Andy Dalton did. Hopefully this game will be in Charlotte, so he'll have that crowd behind him. But I just find it so hard to believe that the Bengals are gonna go 0-4. Like I just can't. I can't see it with the talent that they have. With Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Burrow, I just don't see them being able to them going on for that defense is horrible. Taylor Britt, that corner, you're gonna learn to stop talking. You're gonna learn to stop talking trash. You should feel a little humble yesterday after what Jayden Daniels did to y'all. But I'm gonna go with the Bengals over the Panthers. I'm gonna go Jets over Broncos. I went Philly over the Bucks. That's a game right there that was a little toss up to me because the Bucks just got their ass whipped by Denver. So I think they're gonna be looking for a bounce back in Tampa. But one thing, like I said, I'm no bias here. Philly to be able to go into New Orleans after New Orleans coming off that major win against Dallas, the performance that New Orleans put on against Dallas, for Philly to go into New Orleans, after coming off that heartbreaking loss to Atlanta, no A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith got hurt late on in the game, and for them to be able to come in there and pull out a gritty win like that, and somebody else's backyard, that to me that was huge for Philly. Jalen Carter, they going to need Jalen Carter and Big Davis to play the same way that they did if they want to go into Tampa and win. C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a hell of a game. He gave up a touchdown here and there, but I'm a fan of C.J. People don't like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but I'm a fan of him. So, But if that defense played the way that they played against New Orleans, and Saquon has been on another level since he been in Philly. I don't know. He looked like a rookie all over again. The juice is there. He just looked like, right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, Saquon Barkley looked like the best running back in football, in my opinion, right now. So if they can, I don't know what's the situation with Devontae Smith. Is he gonna be able to play? But I went Philly over the Bucks just because that was a huge win for Philly in New Orleans this past Sunday. I went Texans over Jags, Rams over the Bears. I went Falcons over Saints. That was another toss-up, but I think the Falcons had a pretty good game against Kansas City. You had that controversial call that whatever people think, what I'm saying, it was definitely defensive pass. It was definitely a pass interference. But I like what I seen from the Falcons, and like I said, I just think I like the Falcons team all around. I think that, like I said, I'm just not fully sold on New Orleans yet. They punished us, and I'm just not fully sold on them. So I went Falcons over Saints. I went Steelers over Colts, Vikings over Packers. I like what Willis has been doing for the Packers, going back to Tennessee and getting that win. That was huge for them. But the Vikings are playing on another level. I love what I'm seeing from Sam Darnold. He's also another one that's shocking me. Justin Jefferson, he's coming back to take that crown, best receiver in the league. So I went Vikings over Packers. Even though, and I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, you hating," even though like I said, I love what Jayden Daniels did against the Bengals. I love him. He had his coming out party. He gained a fan in me. He's solid. He's a franchise quarterback. I went Cardinals over Commanders, but it's not because of the Commanders' offense. The reason why I went Cardinals over Commanders is because, like I said, the Commanders' defense scares me. That's secondary. And I just feel like you going up against, now you got Marvin Harrison Jr., you got who's the other receiver? Who's the other receiver? Who's the other receiver in Arizona? Damn, I can't think of it right now. They got weapons in Arizona though. With Kyler, his ability to scramble and run. I went Cardinals over Commanders, but I could be wrong on that one. That one I might be wrong on. I don't know, but I just think with the weapons that they got in Arizona, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan of that secondary in Washington. I think that game will be close, but I went Cardinals over Commanders. I went 49ers over the Patriots. I went Raiders over Browns, Chiefs over Chargers. I went Bills over the Ravens. Like I said, I think the Bills are the second best team in the AFC. What Josh Allen and them have been doing so far this year has been outstanding. Shout out to DeMar Hamlin getting that first interception. But like I said, I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I went Bills over Ravens. I went Titans over Dolphins. This would have been different if Tua was playing because the Titans have been awful to me this year. They got to do something with Will Levis. The Titans was one of the teams I picked to be my sleeper teams, and to me, I like their roster. It's just Will Levis is garbage. I mean, I thought he would be better this year, but apparently not. And last but not least, I went Lions over Seahawks. I understand the Seahawks are 3-0, but I think this game right here is their toughest is going to be the toughest competition they faced so far this year. And I just think that they haven't really been battled. They haven't really been battle tested. So I went Detroit. I just think Detroit. Detroit is one of them teams. They're one of those top echelon teams in the NFC, and I think they did lose. I can't remember who they lost to, but I felt like they lost to somebody that they should have beat. But long story short, I think this is going to be the toughest test for Seattle. This could be a game I could be wrong in too, but I went Detroit over Seattle. And those are my predictions for Week 4. So what I do is I keep tabs on these games to see what I got right and what I got wrong, and we'll discuss it on the next episode of the podcast. Again, I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me, everybody who's been supporting me. Like I said, smash that subscribe button, like and share the content. We on our way to 200 subscribers. Y'all already know the motto, no gimmicks, only the real. I see y'all next time.